What single question reveals the most about a person? I mean, based on what I'm reading here, seems like, what single question reveals the most about a person? Is a good one. Do you stand up to wipe? Hey, can you help me move? What are you passionate about? A buddy of mine works as the head of HR for a fairly noteworthy and large company. He developed a question for this exact purpose. If you had the choice between $1 million, US, or a small army of genetically modified super chickens, which would you pick and why? Everyone under him, hiring staff, mediators, trainers, etc., is required to take a week-long training course to fully comprehend the extent of how much information can be gathered by asking a person this single question. Edit. Some of the comments asked for elaboration, and while I literally cannot go into tons of detail due to just how much info there would be to go through, I'll give a few points that I know of that help to explain why this one question is so valuable. Asterisk. Right after you ask the question, people will typically react in some form. If someone finds it funny, it'd indicate that they have a sense of humor. If someone finds the question stupid or off-putting, it shows that they probably take themselves too seriously and might possibly be closed-minded. Asterisk. If someone gives an immediate answer, they are typically prone to either making rash decisions or not thinking things through and considering their options. By contrast, asking more questions shows a willingness to learn and look at the big picture. Asterisk. If someone does ask more questions, the questions they ask gives a lot of insight into their thought process while you've still only asked one question. Each answer provided also supplies another reaction with which to glean further info about the answerer. Do they think creatively or practically? If you give a ridiculous answer to their question, how do they react? Asterisk. The reasoning behind their answer gives an understanding into what their goal is, what they want from the job, or even from their life as a whole. If you say you want the money, the reasoning behind why is important. Wanting the money to invest it is way different than wanting the money to buy a jet ski. Hope that helps. What is your most important human right? Can you tell me practically everything about yourself? What is your name? Did leaves from the vine make you cry? Unfortunately, in Japan no questions reveal a lot about someone. Japanese people will gladly tell you about their public self. The concept is called tatame, which roughly means facade, and is the hardworking, rule-following responsible member of society they are supposed to be. They will never tell you about their han, or true self. You'd have to become a very close friend to ever know that person. The serious-looking marketing director who tells you his only hobby is playing golf with clients probably also likes watching old reruns of 70s anime, collecting porn and reading science fiction stories. He's never going to tell anyone that, and probably not even his wife. What was the best day of your life? What do you need to do to become perfectly happy? What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Who do you think you are? Or, what gives you the right? Who's the sexiest person, real or fictional, to ever exist, and why Shrek? You were given a chance to kill me, will you take it? The tortoise lays on its back, its belly baking in the hot sun, beating its legs trying to turn itself over, but it can't. Not without your help, but you're not helping. Why aren't you helping? Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? So, y'all like jazz? Tell me about a time where you felt unfairly criticized. I wouldn't say it reveals the most, but it shows how they would like to be treated as well as how they perceive others. What makes you angry? The answers tell you everything you need to know about someone new. What's the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you? The advice itself, who it came from, if and how they implemented it, how it may have changed them as a person. It can reveal a lot. Which way do you hang the toilet paper roll? If they say with the flap against the wall, walk away. If someone actually were to answer honestly, what do you do behind closed doors when no one is watching? If it's like a serious discussion, ask them what's the biggest problem that affects them today. It'll give you a good idea of who they are based on their response. They might say something mature like, I'm a mess and can't keep myself organized. I have to put all this shit on my phone just to remember. Or they might be like, I guess where I'm going to get lunch. Helps distinguish one. If the person is self-reflective 2. If the person is defensive, insecure 3. If the person is mature to identify their own weaknesses and actively seek to improve themselves. Then, because this AskReddit says, what single question, as the question, just ask the same question again later and see if the response is the same. If the person was just making something up to give you an answer, and doesn't actually reflect on their weaknesses, that'll be identified there. Sometimes it's not just about what question you ask, but it's also about how and when that can provide as much insight as the answer itself. What would you do with the money if you won the lottery? Or what would you change if you became president? For me, it's always been questions about music. Who the F***K are you? From what movie do you know Tim Curry from? It seems simple enough, but now that I'm sober, what'll you have to drink has become a semi-loaded question. Not by any fault of the asker, it's just how it is now. What are my interests? Ask this to anybody. Responses vary between truth, partial truth, lies, I don't know, refusing to answer or questioning the value of that question. Tells you a lot about how much they care about you. How can a person be on house arrest if they are homeless? What is your Reddit username? I tend to ask, is there a habit that you'd like to adopt or break, or is there a particular skill that you want to learn? Something along those lines. Depending on their answer, it tells you how well the person knows him, her, themselves, or if he, she, they are working on a better version him, her, themselves. Beware, they could choose to lie or be nonchalant about it, so take their response with a grain of salt, I guess. I did get asked, is there a family member that I admire or model from? I find myself wondering how close am I to my family to have any kind of admiration of them even to this day. What is your motto? Tony Robbins always asks people, growing up, whose love did you crave the most? And then, who did you have to be for that person? What are your passions? How many children do you have in your basement? How do you decide who to vote for? What do you like to do when you're not working? When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you think about after thinking about getting out of the bed? Can you please tell me every single thing about you? Coke or Pepsi, duh. What's your favorite dinosaur? OP's question is the single question that reveals the most about us, and we've all fallen for it. Hook, line and sinker. We're asking anything and everything now, in the name of Reddit research. My question would just actually me saying, D's nuts, and seeing if they know how to respond appropriately. And by appropriately, I mean, got him. Who is currently President of the United States? Do you like the Amazon, or Amazonians more? What do you wish your past would have been like? Mac or PC? If you could kill a homeless person for a block of cheese, what kind of cheese would inspire you to murder? Only one person has ever said they wouldn't kill anyone. Another person said string cheese. So if anyone wants to have a vagrant killed for $20 and a Costco trip, let me know. Tell me about yourself. Asterisk, did you wear a mask in public during the pandemic? Asterisk. What do you want people to say about you when you die? Are you living that way now? Favorite Bond actor? What's your ideal sandwich? This is my dating app opener. Not a lot of people ask AB sandwiches, so they don't usually have an answer. If they can answer, they can think on their feet and come back quick, and they're willing to play along with a game. If they can't, they need time to deal with questions they aren't prepared for. If they won't, they're kind of serious. If they lecture you about how sandwiches are unhealthy, run. Haven't we asked this question 6 times in the last 2 weeks? Are you evil or friendly? How do you treat animals? If you had to choose one superpower, what would it be? I always like to ask people about their fears. What someone fears can say a lot more, like what they feel is important or what they value. What's your favorite color? If they say red, they usually have an edgy side, but are cool. If they say yellow, they look for the best in things. If they say black, they're usually trying too hard to be edgy or are, not like the other girls. If they say blue, Something is wrong and they will either tell you or hide it. Either way, they probably need help. What 10 books have you read? Are you an anti-vaxxer? Hello there. If they reply, General Kenobi, you know that you can rely on them. Who won the 2020 American presidential election? Do you put your shopping cart back after unloading your groceries? Have you cheated in a relationship before? If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Sue, what do you think of the Star Wars prequels? What do you do for fun? What is the one thing that reveals the most about you, as a person? What is existence to you? It makes them think hard, and is an unexpected and existential question. It tells a lot about how they think and their outlook on life. Red vines or Twizzlers? Can you tell me everything about you? Who is the best Disney princess? What is love? Any answer other than, baby don't hurt me, would immediately make me suspicious. What would you like to order, sir, miss? Could you describe yourself? What's the exact spelling of their whole name? Then Google them. Ask them, what would you do if you knew you could get away with it and no one would know, not even God? If they answer honestly, that can tell you a lot. And I'm surprised at how many give frighteningly honest answers. Fear of punishment and detection seems to inhibit a lot of things, like rape-y behavior. As opposed to, like, having no interest under any circumstances in being rape-y because you know it's not okay separate and apart from external moral authorities. Thanks for watching. See you later.